Alrighty, we are back, and we are honored to be joined by Jason Cirillo of Choice Provisions.
Hi there.
Hey, introduce yourself, Jason.
All right, you did a pretty good job just now, but I'll do what I can. I'm Jason Cirillo. I am a game developer with Choice Provisions, and I have worked on many of the games that Choice Provisions has released.
That's right. Choice Provisions used to be Gaijin games, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah, and such amazing WiiWare games as Bit Trip.
Yes, that's right. We got started in the WiiWare space with the Bit Trip series. That was a series of 6 games, and then we did a sequel to Bit Trip Runner, which was one of our more popular titles in that series. And the Runner 2 came out on Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. And now we are currently working on Runner 3.
I can't wait.
Switch.
Yes. Heck yes.
Yeah,
And
you're going to love it.
yeah, amazingly, you know, Bit Trip is one of the series that I actually really bought and loved on WiiWare.
Awesome.
Because it was kind of like the perfect price point, perfect retro aesthetic. And it was kind of like I played the first one and I kind of got in oh, let's see, there's Beat.
Yeah.
And then I got in right after the fourth one.
Okay, so it goes Beat, Core, Void, Runner, Fate, and Plus.
That's what it was. So yes, I had got in at Runner. So what happened is I got Runner, then I played Beat, and then Core, and then Void.
Right.
And then
I think a lot of people found Void, and then Runner, and then liked Runner and went back and started at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. And and it's funny, a lot of my friends love the Bit Trip games, and honestly, they love Beat. I hear that a lot, just the original is so good, and I tend to agree.
It's one of my favorites in the series.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's kind of like a rhythm-based Arkanoid Pong.
I think Pong, yeah. Pong is a better descriptor for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm-based Pong game, I think you could say. Sure.
Yeah, but it's insane. Very hard. I remember playing with 2 players is a lot of fun, and then you can actually play with more, up to 4 players on the Wii, and you play with the motion controls. It was so good.
Man, I can't believe I missed the WiiWare era.
Yeah.
So disappointing. I did play Runner 2 on Wii U though.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Yeah, no, Runner's great. I'm really looking forward to Runner 3. It looks
heck yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah, thank you. It is insane. The best part about when people tell me that they're looking forward to Runner 3 is that you have seen nothing of Runner 3.
Yeah,
I don't say that in a condescending way. I want you to be excited. Nobody had, even the people who have played it at the shows we've brought it to.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what is coming. It is going to blow you away in ways that you can't even imagine. It really is amazing.
Awesome. That is so fun to hear. I mean, Runner 2 was a drastic change from Runner, even. I mean, drastic in the sense of it, aesthetic wise, at least. And gameplay, for the most part.
Imagine scale as well, because Runner 2 had a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 And also, I just, something about Runner 2 that amazed me was, of how complicated the game, how hard it is. They're tough games. I mean,
sure.
The original Runner is one of the most hardcore games I've ever played. Yeah. But I mean, Runner 2, it was so fluid. And I remember I would jump into that game and play it for 10 minutes. And then I would come back a month or 2 later and jump in and play and beat a few levels just instantly and, kind of jump. It was just amazing how it's kind of like learning to ride a bike, where it just, the controls and everything and your dodge and stuff, it just comes right back to you. So I am very much looking forward to Runner 3. So
that's great. I really think you're going to like it. If you liked Runner 2, you're going to just absolutely love Runner 3.
Oh, I would say you're pumping up the hype train too there. So
yeah.
I'm more excited.
I have to. That's part of my job.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, what do you do at Choice Provisions?
So Choice Provisions is a small team, and that means that the people do lots of different things, and I especially do lots of different things. I think we've never really decided what my official title there is, but I consider myself first and foremost to be a designer. Although I do a lot of art, I do a lot of programming, I do game design, um, I do stuff. I do a lot of the HUD design, a lot of the 2D art. I actually pretty much for most of the 2D art that we have in our games comes from me.
Oh,
Yeah, and I do pretty much in some of the games I've even done the music and the sound effects. So I kind of do a little of everything.
Jack of all trades, if you will.
Yeah, I get that. I get that term, thrown around here and there. But yeah, I guess that's what it is, really.
So you're Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one will ever say no to that. No one will ever deny that. Sure.
Cool. Well, yeah, there is a little game that came out, I think back in 2014, named Whoa Dave.
Yeah, Whoa Dave. Right on.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. And that game, I think that I can't remember if I got it. No, I did buy it when it came out, and then it was also on the Humble bundle, the indie bundle.
Yes,
I believe, right?
That's right.
And that's when I was excited to get it on my Wii U because I had it on my 3DS. This cute little, very addicting arcade game where I kind of compared it most to like Mario Bros.
Sure, heavily inspired.
Yeah,
unapologetically inspired by Mario Brothers. Sure.
Yeah.
I'd say tougher though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That game is brutal, man.
Except for it has physics that doesn't make you want to rip your eyes out of your sockets.
Right.
like Mario Bros. Does, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of Mario Bros. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean it's a modern Mario Bros. Is what Whoa Dave I'd say, where you're eggs are dropping and you gotta smash them with skulls before they hatch.
Explode.
Yes.
But then,
Explode the skulls too, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then and then instead of the POW block, you got the whoa block, and then that's how you get tons of coins. And yeah, very addicting. I was never super good at it, but it was always fun to act like I was.
I've never been all that great at it either, so don't feel too bad.
Okay. With Whoa Dave, is that something that how did that come to be? Was it trying to mess around and play with that sort of like Mario Bros formula and that sort of came out of that? Or, I'm curious with like an arcade game like that where it's so reliant on the gameplay, like the core gameplay, where you're going to play it and you're going to play it over and over again. Like how is that something that you throw down on there and you just sort of tweak as you go along to make it till it feels right? Or
yeah, that's exactly what it is. In 2013 is when I started developing that game. And that was a time when there was some really cool stuff going on in the indie game scene with like single screen platformers. And I got really inspired by seeing what was going on. And I kind of wanted to try my hand at my own single screen platformer. And around that time, my older son had gotten a 2DS, and we just downloaded some NES games on it. And one of the games he got was Mario Brothers. And I mean, I had played it for years when I was a kid, but I was watching him play it, and I was like, man, this formula is really interesting. And it's kind of people have kind of forgotten about the original Mario Brothers before Super Mario Brothers, and I just kind of passively studied what they were trying to do in that game. But, I thought, it kind of got me thinking like I would like to make a game sort of like that. And yeah, I mean, tweaking it and turning the screws on it over and over and over again was exactly how the game was made. And there was, I started prototyping it. And I had played a few games like, VVV and Super Crate Box and everything. And I had I looked at kind of some of the things that they were doing, but I didn't want a character that, could shoot. I didn't want a guy that had a gun because that didn't feel like my style. And plus, Super Crate Box is all about guns, so I didn't want to just do that. But I just kind of started tooling with it. And my original inspiration for the game, aside from Mario Brothers, was, believe it or not, was Tetris. And yeah, that was like one of the big inspirations for Wode was Tetris, believe it or not. And the original concept of the game was that the pieces were falling out of the sky, and there was a U-shaped piece. Like if you can imagine Tetris shapes, like Tetraminos that had a U shape, and one was a U shape and the other one was a T shape. So you can see the T fitting inside of the U. So what you'd have to do is you'd pick up a U and then you'd pick up a T, and it would form a square. And then with the square, you would then throw that thing at the enemies. So that was the first prototype, and the enemies just were spawning on the screen. And it was really slow, and it was really so much work just to pick off one enemy, because you had to build this weapon. You had to spend so much time building a weapon that you'd end up killing like 1 or 2 guys with. And then it just was like, it wasn't fun because it wasn't fast, and it was too much work with very little payoff. And it kind of just went back to the drawing board. I honestly don't remember the exact train of thought that I had when I was working on the game, but eventually it just came down to where it was like eggs and skulls. I think it was like it was sort of a rock scissors paper thing that I kind of ended up with that worked. Where it's like, you can throw an egg at a skull and it won't break, but you throw the skull at the egg and it will break. So like the skull trumps the egg and the enemies.
Sure, yeah.
So it kind of grew from there. It was prototyped over and over again, until I kind of got to that good feeling. And plus, I think the way Dave moves is also a big help too. We call it flea physics in the office. It was sort of a thing that we.
Oh yeah, he does move like a flea.
I like that.
Yeah, and he sticks to platforms, which was one of the things. I had somebody review the game and they thought that it was an oversight or a bug, but it was totally intentional. That when he goes up through a platform, he doesn't overshoot the platform; he sticks to it, and that was done intentionally so that you could rapidly jump from platform to platform without having to wait for the character to land. So yeah. So there was all little things like that. We just turned the screws on it over and over again until it felt fast and it felt right. So
yeah,
awesome.
and so yeah, you released that on 3DS and Wii U. And among other platforms.
Yeah,
that's for. But now we have the. Are you calling it the spiritual successor or the sequel?
It's not a sequel.
Okay.
It's the next game in the series.
I'm hesitant
to call it a sequel, because if I did a sequel, it would be called Wode 2.
Gotcha.
Or something like that.
Sure.
Which is, something that could happen. But Space Dave is, it's so, how can I put it? Space Dave is to Wodave what Mario Tennis is to Super Mario Brothers. It's just,
gotcha.
It's another game starring Dave, but has a lot of the same elements. So like any Mario game you play, you get a mushroom, you have an idea what that's going to do. Or if you get a star, you know what that's going to do. And it's kind of the same idea when I put together Space Dave. It was like, well, I wanted some of the elements to carry over, like what an enemy hitting the ground or hitting the lava will do. And that was it's like in that universe, these things happen. This is like the way of nature in this universe. So like stuff from Motive.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess you could call it that. It's a successor in a series.
Well, see, now I want Dave Tennis.
I wouldn't mind that at all. That
sounds awesome.
A nice robust single player RPG campaign.
Boom.
Absolutely. Yeah. It would be crazy if there was a Dave Tennis. That would be a lot of fun, actually.
Heck yeah. I know Fabraz is bringing the guys that did Slime Son are publishing a tennis game that's kind of like the Zelda. It's kind of like a Zelda aesthetic, and when you're hitting an orb back from Ganon.
Sure.
It's kind of like, it has that kind of an idea for it, and so that kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, that'd be sweet. But for Space Dave, can you? I mean, why don't you explain it to everyone? I mean, I guess if they're watching the video, they're seeing it, but for our audio listeners,
yeah, sure. So the idea behind these games that we call them the Dave games, or the Dave series, even though there's only 2 games and so far. The idea is that you take 3 or 4 old arcade games that everyone knows, you smash them together, you take the best parts of all these games, and you put them together, and you modernize it, you make it fast and frantic, and then you have a game. And with Whoa Dave, you had Mario Brothers, you had Bubble Bobble, you had a couple of more obscure games like Space Panic, which isn't a very well-known game. Maybe some Tetris elements in there, and so on and so forth. And then you have Whoa Dave. Well, so we're Space Dave. It was the same idea. So I went and I looked and I said, well, let's take Galaga, let's take Space Invaders, let's take Missile Command, let's take Gapless, and a few other.
Bird and Beans
for sure. Let's take some of those games and smash them together. This is the spirit of, this series, and that's what we do. And we came up with this vertical shooter, which is also kind of a platform game in some ways, because Dave is a sort of a platforming character, so he can run and jump. He can still run and jump like he did in Whoa Dave, not exactly like he did in Whoa Dave, but he has those mechanics. And you are trying to protect the ground that you're walking on from the aliens that dive out of formation, similar to Galaga. But in Galaga, when they reach the bottom, they just respawn on the top of the screen. In Space Dave, when they reach the bottom of the screen, they destroy the ground. So now it's untraversable, if that's a word. It's ground you can't walk on, and a big lava pit forms. So you're kind of trying to pick off the aliens and also trying to defend your ground. So there's a little bit of tower defense in there. It's not very rich with that, but it's got notes of tower defense. And then if the ground is destroyed, you have the ability to rebuild it. So like in Whoa Dave, when aliens do hit the ground or hit the lava, they evolve into a more powerful creature. And if you kill the evolved aliens, their skulls fall to the ground, which you can then pick up and throw. Just sort of like Whoa Dave, and you throw them into the lava, and that will rebuild the lava. And then that just keeps going. And there's power-ups. We don't have a Whoa block in Space Dave, but we do have a space block. And the space block, we actually originally did have a Whoa block in Space Dave, and it was no fun at all. It's just not fun to have to blow out the whole. It's like you just pass a level, really. And that wasn't fun.
Right.
So we did a space block, and the space block you throw on the ground, and it has a beam, sort of like the Ghostbusters capture box. It knocks the aliens down, and they turn upside down, and then they work for you. So you kind of turn the tables. So you catch as many aliens as you can, and then you can fire with them. And that's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of little secrets and strategies that are kind of hidden in there as well. Different aliens have different HP, hit points, and capturing the stronger aliens is beneficial because they retain their hit points. So they start taking damage from the aliens themselves. The stronger ones take longer to kill, and you can hold on to them longer, et cetera, et cetera. So it's got some pretty deep strategy in it that you need to spend a little more than a few minutes with the game to kind of figure out. Similarly to Whoa Dave, if you just spend like 2 minutes with Whoa Dave, you'll just think like, what the heck did I just spend $5 on here? But you spend more than a few minutes with it, and you start to it starts to unfold.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's really, because of it being kind of like a modern take on a classic arcade genre, Whoa Dave ended up being seriously one of the titles that I would go back to the most, because it was so accessible, and it was so much fun just for really quick spurts. And like you said, it gets surprisingly deep, and you get your strategies and stuff, and I try to stick with them, and then and then everything gets insane, and then I try to bonkers mode, and then I realized I should just go back to normal mode.
Right, it's hard.
Yeah, bonkers is bonkers.
It is bonkers. We had it locked in Whoa Dave, and we decided to just give it away in Space Dave, because why not? So,
yeah. Well, you know you're gonna have those people that are insane. I mean, you're already
Oh
getting
yeah,
insane scores
the
already.
people who get really into it with the high, high score and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
absolutely. It's all about score. These games are purely score-based games. That's really what it's all about. And if you're looking for a score chaser with a good leaderboard with a lot of competition on it, then I would say Space Dave is like the perfect game for you.
Yeah, heck yeah. Now I wonder, when we're talking about Whoa Dave, you said it was sort of you playing around, prototyping it. How
Mm-hmm.
many people ended up, was it solely like this was just your project and you did that? And then I'm curious, if the team grew in size to Space Dave.
Whoa Dave and Space Dave developed in pretty much both in the identical way. So what happened was I prototyped both Whoa Dave and Space Dave myself. Coded it, did the graphics, and I'm talking about the prototype. Coded it, did the graphics, did the sound, did the game design, the whole everything. Did all that myself. And then we played it, we liked it, and we decided, okay, we're going to put it to console. So this is, before I knew how to do this stuff myself, which I'm recently starting to figure out. But we brought a programmer in that was just smarter than me, that knew more about it. And then they were able to take my prototype code and code it, or build it in an environment that could be ported to Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of Wode, for all the other platforms that it was deployed on. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much designed and developed the game first as a prototype, and then we brought it over to we had it ported in an environment that could be ported. So our Space Dave was the Nintendo Switch version of that, was coded by a guy named Garrett Varon, who is a really, really great programmer and who's also working on Runner 3. So yeah, that's kind of how that went down. That was the process.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I was going to say, as a follow-up there to that, how soon after Whoa Dave did you know, like, we want to make, as you said, the Dave series, the Dave games? Like, was that something that, Whoa Dave was done, or even when you were sort of putting Whoa Dave together, it was like, I could see this sort of becoming more, of a series of games opposed to just just a standalone?
Yeah, it's well, I think it's kind of hard for me to talk about my own games and like I don't know, like saying like, oh, this was super great. This whole thing I did was awesome. But I mean,
no, go for it.
Yeah, pimp away.
So, well, when I made Whoa Dave, the original prototype of the game, we had a team of people at Choice Provisions, and I kind of went off in a corner and just sort of built it, and then was like, okay, guys, what do you think of this? And pretty quickly, we had major competitions going on in the office, and the people that were in our company were, I mean, to be honest, they were playing it a lot, and they were having a lot of fun with it, and we were all like, it was like big news if somebody beat someone else's score, and then it kind of turned into like a thing. And this is before the game was actually even released.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all game developers, and we're pretty critical, and I think we realized that at that point it was something kind of special that we had going on. And we started bringing it to shows, and then we'd have other game developers from other companies come to the office, and we'd be like, hey, have you tried this game that we're making? What do you think? And they were having a lot of fun with it, and there's a lot of yelling and swearing and laughing, and and we started realizing like, okay, maybe something is going on here that we should pay attention to. So we released it, and it did really well. It got really good reviews, and it was financially successful, and we ended up getting some really positive feedback, and it kind of built this weird little cultish following. It's it's not like
That's awesome.
It's not a huge, it's not like it's not as big as a lot of other indies out there that are super, like a Meat Boy or something like that, but it's got a nice following, and
dedicated fan base.
Yeah, it has a good dedicated fan base, and I'm surprised, like every now and then I'll just read some random thing online where someone will mention Wodave, and I'm just like blown away that it's got the reach that it has. So it was at that point. I think after it was released, we were like, okay, people are latching onto this. It's doing something for people, so we should think about doing more with it. And then we showed off Space Day. We announced Space Day. We brought it to a few shows and people really liked it. And then we started realizing that people, like when we brought Space Day to shows, we started realizing that people knew what Wodave was and people had played Wodave and they owned Wodave and they really liked
this is Wodave.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Like, exactly. People would come up and be like, oh my God, this is Wodave.
That's what I would have done.
We were blown away because for us, like, Wodave was a little experiment. It's like, let's just do this little thing and just see what people think, just for fun. Because it didn't take a really long time to develop. And it was like, let's just do it. Let's just see what people think. And if it sucks, then, whatever. And people really liked it. So we decided, like, well, let's do something else. Let's take that same formula, where it's like, pick a bunch of arcade games that, that we like and smash them together and try another thing. And that's how we made Space Dave. So, and that's kind of how it took off. And then now we've got Dave in Runner 3 as well.
Heck yeah.
He's super grotesque and disturbing, which is really a lot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave for Smash.
I love the Dave, the art for Space Dave and just in general. Disgusting.
Oh yeah, he's just a horrible character. And you should see him in Runner 3. I mean, I
cannot wait.
Oh yeah, he is. There's a couple of screenshots that he was in the trailer. We actually remodeled him since that trailer, and he is just off the charts now. I mean, absolutely. And the best part about Runner 3 is that there's a shop where you can buy costumes, and every character has their own costumes, and Dave has his own entire set of costumes.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, does he have like a Wodave and like a Space Dave? Or like a Dave?
Dave. We've got Dave, and there's actually I mean, if you've played Wodave, you know that there's Dave, and then there's this other Dave who's blue.
Yeah, isn't that the Dave?
That's Dave. Yeah, with question mark. He actually makes a cameo appearance in Runner 3 as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and not as a costume, which is fun. So I'm very, very. I'm not only excited, but I'm highly, highly humbled and honored that Dave was put into Runner 3 because. I mean, Runner is like, people love that game, and it's got a big following.
Yeah.
The fact that Dave was put in that game to me is just like high honor for me. So I'm very excited about that.
That is really, really cool and excited. So congratulations, Jason.
Thank you very much.
That is really cool. Now I do want to make a suggestion for a Dave series game, and that would be Donkey Dave. Where it plays like the arcade Donkey Kong.
Oh boy!
So I think you guys could do something really sweet with that.
We probably could. We probably
be awesome.
Dave. That's so good.
I think the name is
Davey Kong.
It's a bit troublesome, but yeah, maybe. I have ideas. I do have ideas. I like that idea a lot, but we'll see what happens next. I don't know.
I've always here's the thing. I've wanted Nintendo to make a new Donkey Kong with, good physics ever since, for the past 15 years, I've wanted them to do that. So maybe you guys could just do that, is make a
step in.
Maybe one where he doesn't fall from 1 foot,
Did you play Donkey Kong on the Game Boy?
Oh, well, I love the Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong. 94 is unbelievable. True, exactly. I want more of that.
I'm talking about Donkey Kong and the black and white Game Boy.
Yeah, Donkey Kong 94. Or they call it Donkey. Well, that's like that's
the year it came out, I think.
It's
right?
just called Donkey Kong.
Anyway, that's a good Donkey Kong.
That's an unbelievably good Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I guess that kind of started a new. It's not as arcadey. It's more platformy,
puzzly. Yeah,
puzzly. Yeah. But
sure.
yeah, that'd be sweet. But yeah. So let's talk futures now. There's been some rumblings. All over the internet that Wodave could be coming to the Switch, or and to me it's kind of a no-duh thing. Like, I've wanted it ever since. I thought, I was like, okay, they're putting Space Dave out, they're gonna put Wodave out, like, before or something like that. It didn't happen, but Now I'm hearing about it. What's going on?
It could happen. I want it to happen. I'm trying to make it happen.
Gotcha.
And if it does happen, it would be pretty super deluxe.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see what you did
Perry
there.
used to be the biggest 3DS fan of all time, and now he's completely abandoned it. So I guess the only way he's going to be playing with Dave is if it comes out to the Switch.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
So I would really, really like to release Woe Dave on the Switch. But we've had a lot of people ask for it. So
you got the Joy-Con co-op. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, if we do it, it will be special for the Switch, I think.
Yeah.
That's my plan. That's my hope. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Now, Runner 3. When is the when's that coming out? I mean, I know there's not a date, but when are you planning on having it out?
Soon. I mean, soon in the world of video games can mean a lot of things.
Right.
Subjective.
Somewhere between March and April, I think, is sort of like the
Oh, wow.
Somewhere
and this is coming retail.
Yes, we have announced a physical version of Runner 3. Definitely coming.
Do you know if that's going to be day and date with the digital launch, or is that, I know a lot of the physical releases for indie games have sort of come out a little bit after?
We as a company may know that, although I don't personally know the answer to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
see, I think Runner 3 would be one where if there was a long wait, I'd probably buy it digitally and then probably buy it physically again later.
Yeah.
I'm a psycho.
Yeah. I wish I had an answer for you, but I'm afraid I don't. And the answer may exist, but I just don't. I'm
sure.
Otherwise, I would just turn to somebody and ask them. But unfortunately, I don't have that resource. So, yeah.
Sure. Now, and then one last thing before we go. Have you guys thought about bringing the Bit Trip Complete to Switch with the Joy-Cons and the the motion and stuff? I mean, has that ever been talked about?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I would say that I think it's fair to say that with the obvious success of the Switch, every at least independent game developer out there is talking about bringing pretty much everything they've ever made to the Switch. Whether or not they actually will do that is another story, but certainly we've talked about it. Absolutely. I think we would love to do that.
What I'm trying to say is I want you to do that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I know. I would love that. I mean, that's the thing. I think as a company, we are really passionate about the games that we make, and we really, really like the games that we make. We like to play them, and we have fun with them, and we want them to come out on modern consoles, and we want to do that stuff. It's just a matter of time and money. I think there's nobody else who wants the Bit Trip series on Switch more than the Choice Provisions people. It's just it's a matter of it's all the stuff involved in making that happen. But yes, there has been talk about it. We've discussed it, and we'll see what happens. And I mean that honestly. I'm not just being coy. We don't know what's happening.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure before we stopped talking that I wanted to tell you that I want that on Switch.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If it wasn't already there.
Yeah,
we want it on Switch too. Absolutely.
It really, I know it would be such a good console for it. It really would.
Yeah, I mean everything
would be so good, and it would be so crisp and on that big screen, on the handheld, and and you could play. Yeah, it's perfect. So
it would be perfect on there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. But what is perfect already on there is Space Dave, which is out for $9.99, I believe.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Right now, so everyone can buy this beautiful arcade game made by Jason and the guys under the is it the Mini Visions?
Yeah, it's a Mini Visions game. Mini Visions is our little sort of our Skunk Works department at Choice Provisions, where we just sort of do silly little projects. And Space Dave is one of them, for sure.
Wonderful. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us
It has
tonight and
been
talking.
an honor and my pleasure. Thank you for having me very, very much. I really had a lot of fun.
The pleasure's all ours.
Yes. And where can everyone find you? Pimp all your wares.
Okay. Well, where do I start? Let me give you my home phone number first.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'm on Twitter. That's where I spend a lot of time. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But on Twitter, my handle or name, whatever the kids call it these days, is RoboTube. It's RoboTube. And of course, you can contact me through our Choice Provisions Twitter as well, which is Totally Choice. TotallyChoice.com is the website of our team. And also we have a development blog for Runner 3 where we have lots of screenshots and updates and things like that, which is runner3.game, not .com, but .game. And yeah, you can find us there.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason. We will talk to you later. You have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks again, Jason.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.